Hello and welcome to an Easter 2020 writerly witterings that's got nothing to do with writing. Okay then folks, so this is my Rolex Oyster. Delightful fellow crypto investor mentioned that he had noticed my watch and said it was a fascinating looking old watch. Would it be possible to make a video about it? And I said, well, yeah, quite easy really, so here goes. This is my Easter present to you, a video that you weren't expecting and probably most of you won't have the faintest interest in. But back in 1986, I had left one company, Wordplex, where they'd paid me really quite well, and a bonus I got what came in the form of 1 or 2 Krugerrands. Nice historical thing. I had at the time a watch that was broken, and I had friends who had nice Rolex watches. So I went to a company called Zales and said, could I buy one of your finest watches please? And oddly enough they said, all right gov. Now at the time this was the main brochure for Rolexes of the pocket size anyway. I think this came with my watch, so it gives a history of the watch, an idea of how it works, the screw down winding system so it's safe under water and it's safe above water, and all these nice things. Who wears them? Isn't that nice? Very nice, pretty useless for me. I also got this, which was the instructions, I think, for my watch, the Rolex GMT-Master. There it is, you see. Lovely colourful watch, red and black, because it tells the time in 2 time zones. And at the time I worked for Wang Laboratories, and the idea of having a watch that would tell me what time it was in Boston at Lowell, where the headquarters was quite handy. So I was persuaded, and I traded in my Krugerrand, together with another few £100, for a Rolex. And it has been on my wrist pretty much ever since. What's in here? Here we go with the actual certificate to prove that it's genuine, because it has been checked out by Rolex. So there's that. And then you also, with Rolex, got a nice little booklet which had the official guarantee. It had a really particularly useless little calendar for some reason, and then a booklet on Rolex as well. Well, that's fine. It just tells you where to go around the world if you want to get it serviced. Brilliant. This is the actual document that validates that it's a superlative chronometer, which means it'll hold 99.99% of the time. There you go, a guarantee and attestation and statement from the official chronometer measurers in Switzerland. Gosh. I seem to remember that sticker was what was on the back of the watch when it first arrived, when it was brand new. It was actually stuck to the back of the watch. So, what is this wonderful watch? Let's have a look. Here we go, open the box. And it's a nice box because it is wooden with leather trimmings. It was even nicer before the top leather stitched bit came loose. It's just glued on, I think, around this metal logo, which is presumably glued on as well. And here's the watch. Now I went into Zales, which was a not very impressive store in deepest Crawley, and said I'd like a Rolex, and they said that's fine. I said what's that? They said that's the one you can afford, because a GMT-Master, not the GMT-Master 2. And the GMT-Master 2 had a big difference, which was it had sapphire crystal on the top. This didn't. This just has plastic, which scratches and is expensive to replace. So I said to the guy in the shop, is it possible to replace it with sapphire crystal later? And they said yes. Zales by the time I had to go back, had gone bust. Which is good, because I would have wanted a word with that salesman, because when I spoke to Rolex, no, there's no way you can replace the plastic with GMT-Master 2 sapphire crystal, because they're different sizes, they don't fit. Hey-ho. But this watch has been on my wrist since 1986. It is not the most accurate watch in the world. It loses several minutes every week. You know what? I don't care. I just love it. I love its chunky size. I love the solidity. I love every aspect about it. Now, the perspicacious amongst you will notice that this is the wrong strap. This bracelet is from a Submariner. I actually paid 150 quid or so over the odds to get this special bracelet, which has this lock and means that it won't come straight off your hand easily. That struck me as a good idea. Then I had a little mishap. One day, while out walking on Dartmoor, my little flip lock section, this, came off. It came off because I tripped over while camping on the moors, and my hand fell down on a large lump of granite and literally ripped that bit of metal from my wrist and the watch, and left me not terribly severely injured, but injured enough. It was a lot more injurious, a damn sight more painful, when in 2004 I had to send my watch to Rolex and received this nice quotation in the post saying, "Oyster Perpetual, full estimate to repair, etc." And the total charge was 389 quid, which was expensive and painful. But that's unfortunately the way of things when you buy a Swiss watch. If something goes wrong with it, it will cost you. Has anything gone wrong with this watch? Yes, it has. Apart from the fact it loses time, all of the illuminations here do not work. I cannot now read this in the darkness. Also, all of the red, as you can see, has disappeared from the bezel. And in fact, last time it went in for a service, the nice chaps there did say if I wanted to, I could replace it with a new bezel so it'd be bright red again. And I decided against, and this time it wasn't because of the money. This time it was purely because this watch has been on my wrist. It's been with me, as I say, since '86, so that's 34 years. It's part of me now. I can't get this changed and swap out newer bits. That'd be ridiculous. This is the watch that I bought. I want it unchanged. I've had to change the strap, the clasp, but that's fine. I've still got the old one and I'm keeping it. This is a piece of family history now. I actually understand that were I to want to put this on the market, it would probably be one of the more valuable Rolexes out there, because there's no inscription, there's nothing to muck up the back of it. There's all of the original paperwork with it from the day I bought it. And it's a unique form of watch now. Because it's this old version with the plastic face, they didn't make these for very long. And that adds to its value. Would I sell it? Well, you know, if book sales keep diminishing and the royalties keep decreasing with each book sale, maybe it'd be necessary. But as things stand, I think my son would rather cut my legs off and sell them to feed alligators in the zoo than see this watch go for sale, because he looks on this as part of his inheritance. Why, I don't know, because he never wears a wristwatch. But what the hell, he likes it, that's fair enough. I love it too, I'm not going to get rid of it. So there you go, Mr. Investor. One Rolex, pristine, beautiful, apart from all of the scratches, nicks, faded colours and everything else. Of course, one of the joys of modern technology is discovering, after recording a fair bunch of stuff, that everything was out of focus. So I'm back again now, probably with a bunch of books behind me perfectly in focus, but never mind. So, I have been asked, would I ever sell this thing? The answer has to be no. First of all, it would really drive my son irate, because he looks on this as his most important heirloom from the family. But also, it's, for me, impossible to consider it, because this has fond memories of travels all over the world, of travelling to Alaska and Houston and Austin in Texas and down to New Orleans and all over Chicago and New York. It's got memories of swimming in the Indian Ocean, of safaris in Kenya. It's got memories of every part of my life, really, from my earliest working days. So could I sell it? No, I couldn't. But it's been with me for such a long time, it's hard to imagine being without it now, put it like that. I first got interested in Rolexes, I have to tell you this, because of a friend of mine, Nick, who I used to work with at Wordplex and then Wang Laboratories. And Nick was a large, loud character who always had a Submariner Rolex on his arm. And he used to say that it was fun for him, when he saw somebody wearing a Rolex, he tried it with me, he would always ask if he could have a look at it, and then he would drop it into a pint of beer and watch the owner's face, because he knew if the owner looked horrified, it was a Seiko copy. But if the owner didn't look perturbed, but just mildly irritated, it was a real Rolex. There you go. Have a wonderful Easter. Stay safe, keep in, get out and enjoy the sun if you can, if you've got a garden, but otherwise, if you want to go to the bottom, there's a link for Patreon and you can help support this channel. If you'd like to add a comment, please do. If you'd like to subscribe, hit the button, then hit the bell button for notifications and share it and tell all your friends it's great. And apart from that, have a wonderful long break and I'll see you soon. Take care.